What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Thunder Sports Pod with JT and
The stash, baby. We back at it again.
yes, sir. So right off rip, we got sophomore slump candidates for the NFL for the upcoming season. Who's your three?
So I got this is gonna be controversial. I'm a big fan of him, so I'm gonna start with him first. Tank Dell.
Ooh, okay.
My reasoning behind like most of these guys is not anything to do with the fact that I think they'll be worse, but I think Stefan's gonna take a lot of targets away from Tank, so he's gonna
Yeah,
fall back and have. Not, it's not even gonna be his fault, but he is gonna have more sophomore slumps on the statistical side of the game. Uh, that was my number one. Michael Mayer, the Raiders tight end, I think he's going to not be used as much because they're getting Brock Bowers. I mean, they picked him at 13. Definitely for me, you're going to see less of the field. That's just
Hmm.
my thoughts on it. And my
I like
last
that pick.
guy, they get brought in a new QB, so I don't know how much the run game is going to be used, but I'm taking Bijan Robinson to have a slump.
Ooh, okay. I like all three of those picks. My favorite's probably the Mayor one for the Raiders because Brock Bowers coming in there, he's going to take up a lot of targets. And honestly, all three could happen. All three of those could possibly happen. Tank Dell definitely going to receive a lot less targets compared to Diggs. And coming off in a serious leg injury, that'll definitely be interesting to see how he performs this upcoming season. But I've got some interesting names on my list. You ready?
All right, hit me with him.
All right. So the first guy I got, who I believe is going to have a sophomore slump, is Devon Achane, the Dolphins running back. I think he's going to take a little bit of a slump. Not have a terrible year, but definitely be down in production this year. They drafted Jalen Wright out of Tennessee, and they're going to have two running backs get a good amount of carries other than Achane. So I think he's definitely going to see a little bit of a workload decrease. And my second selection may shock some people. Hear me out. Puka Nakua.
Ooh.
I think Puka Nakua has a sophomore slump,
Don't
everybody.
do that. You can't say that about
And
my boy. You cannot do that. Puka
my
Nakua.
reasoning behind it is Cooper Cup is getting older, and no one knows when he'll get hurt. Praying that nobody gets hurt, but injuries are part of the game. He's getting older. He may start to show signs of age, and I think a lot of people have more game film on him, preparation how to guard him better, and he's probably going to get a lot more of these top corner coverages on him compared to Cup. So that's my reasoning why I think he takes a sophomore slump.
Okay.
And my third guy, Green Bay Packers, Jaden Reed.
Okay.
And I think it just is because there's so many offensive guys in that locker room that they have a lot of talent on that team, and Jordan Love's just going to be spreading the wealth. I just don't think he can repeat his season a year ago. I mean, he had 64 catches, 793 yards for 8 touchdowns. That's a solid year for rookie. I don't think he'll be able to duplicate that at all. But we'll have to wait and see. But let us know down below, everybody. Who do you think is going to have a sophomore slump? And which list do you like better, JT's or Stashes?
Right here. Right here. I hope
All
Bijan
right,
Robinson has a slump. I hope that whole team does.
Bijan. I mean, hey, Kirk Cousins is going to be airing it out a lot with it. Could
Trying
happen.
to.
Yeah. So, next topic. Which NFL quarterback will submit themselves as a top 10 quarterback this upcoming season?
So, this guy, I think, he had an incredible season last year. I thought he played really well. I'm very high on him. There's only one man I can think of on this who has, I think, is going to submit himself as a top 10 QB after this next season, and that is the one, the only, the future Hall of Famer Jordan Love will be a top 10 QB cemented next season.
Oh, man. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Do you think he is more consistent this year? I mean, he showed glimpses of greatness, but he did have like a 5 or 6 week stretch where he played pretty poor.
That is true. That is 100% factual. He did have like a stretch where he played well, but let's not forget that was basically his rookie season.
Exactly. Very
Let's
true.
not forget that it was a rookie season. He went in. He won a playoff game. I mean, he almost went to the NFC Championship game. He threw an interception A crossbody. Look, he pulled a Favre, yes, but he was really close. So I got to give a lot of credit to my man. Jordan Love is my pick on this. He is going to submit himself as a top 10 QB next season.
I like it. I definitely think he has the ability to do so, and we'll see what Jordan Love can do in Green Bay next season. But for my pick, the 35-year-old quarterback, Dirty Birds, Atlanta, Kirko Chains, everybody. He's going to submit himself as a top 10 quarterback next year. He's been on the fringe of it the last couple of seasons in Minnesota, but I really do think he's going to surpass expectations in Atlanta. He's going to have a great season and submit himself as a top 10 quarterback. You've got all the weapons in the world. You've got Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. You've got your guys to succeed, and it's up to Cousins to deliver. And I think he does.
I hope he doesn't. Personally, I just really hope he doesn't. I hope they go like, I don't know, 6 wins on the season for all I care. But I'm hoping in the opposition that he does not do what you say. I know he's got a lot of weapons, but he had a lot of weapons in Minnesota. That's all I'm going to say. He had a lot of weapons then.
He definitely did. That team was loaded with talent, but he can't complain about the team not having any sort of talent around him because he was, like you mentioned, on a great team in Minnesota and transitioned smoothly to a high-powered offense in Atlanta.
He 100% did, and I mean, he left Minnesota because he didn't want them to draft his replacement yet, and Atlanta already did it. So I don't know what's going on with that. Michael Penix Jr.
That shocked the world. We'll go ahead and transition to this next topic, though. All right, Stash. Who was better in their prime, boxing-wise, Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali?
So, my personal opinion on this, I think we're going to differ on this. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm taking Iron Mike.
Ooh.
I'm taking Iron Mike. The fact that like 41% of Mike's fights ended in the first round, almost half of his fights ended in the first round. Like he just knocked people out. And like he's got let's not forget one of his losses was he got disqualified for biting an ear off. But
true.
He did don't get me wrong, I got a lot of respect for Muhammad Ali. He did 61 fights, he got 56 wins, 5 losses. He had 19 title defended the title 19 times, and he had 37 KOs. Tyson had 56 fights. He's 50-6, 16 title fights. But the fact that Mike Tyson could finish everybody in the first round, almost half of his fights were finished in the first round, and then another 12% ended in the second round. So he's taking you out in the first 2 rounds, but the durability of Muhammad Ali, the greatest, a lot of people say to do it, was incredible. He had the endurance. He had the physical chin too. Like he could take the hits. Mm-hmm. So I give a lot of respect to Muhammad Ali, but I'm taking Iron Mike in this.
Hey man, I mean, I respect it. Mike Tyson back in the day, Iron Mike, like you mentioned, he was a different breed, and people loved that power punch. They would just KO every opponent he stepped in the ring with, and it was electrifying to watch. I mean, we were not able to watch it back in the day, but seeing those highlights, it went crazy. So I respect your opinion humbly, but have to disagree. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I have got Muhammad Ali in this one. And like you mentioned, their records are legendary. The title defenses of Mike Tyson, he had 9 versus 19. That really stood up to me of Ali's. KO wins, knockout wins. Mike Tyson, 44. Muhammad Ali had 37. So Mike Tyson definitely had that knockout ability more so than Muhammad, but I feel like Ali was more of a defensive guy. He was striking whenever he had his chance to wear you out, like you mentioned. So it just honestly comes down to who you preferred watching more, like their fighting styles.
Okay, no worries. We're guys set. All right, well, I'll continue back. The thing about Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali that I absolutely love and respect when people compare both of them to be the greatest is the fact that they fought so differently. They had completely different fighting styles. Mike Tyson was the brute force, up in your face, hitting you. Muhammad Ali was, like you said, fought like a butterfly, sting like a bee. He danced around to try and he threw you off. He was smooth with it, and then he'd pop you. but for me, the power. I think the power for Mike Tyson was just incredible. So that's why I took Mike Tyson on this one.
Mm. I mean, I don't disagree. Either way you look at it, two legends, two goats. In my humble opinion, I think Muhammad Ali was better, but let us know down below who you think's better. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, man himself, Muhammad, or Mike Tyson, Iron Mike. But we'll go ahead and move on to our next subject at hand. NFL, start, bench, cut, edition, quarterback version. All right, between these three quarterbacks, let me know who you was starting, benching, and cutting, Stash. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
Am I okay? So how am I doing this? Like, so is it like I'm taking my team? Which team? Who do I want on my team over each other?
No, not necessarily. Just give me who you think is the best player. Just not necessarily you're not adding them to your team. Just who stands out to you the most out of those three, and rank them in order based on that.
Skill wise, I think Josh has the most skill, most athletic ability. He's big. He can run. He can truck. My biggest issue was the interceptions. The other two I have issues with their injury history. Like that's my biggest thing on that. Lamar's a two-time MVP. Burrow's been to the Super Bowl. Allen's the only one without the accomplishments.
Yeah.
But I think if like I'm looking at how they play and who they have, I'm taking Josh. I think Josh makes the most of what he has, and he fought last year to win that division. I'm taking Josh number one.
I don't blame you.
So I take Josh number one. The other two are hard for me because one's a two-time MVP. He can scramble. He can move. He can make teams miss a lot. Burrow, I think, is the one that's more clutch and it's hard. I would say he's got two MVPs. I'm thinking Lamar two, and then Burrow three. I know that's weird, but like especially for me because I'm not a big Lamar guy. But
Yeah.
He's got two MVPs. I gotta respect that.
For sure, 100%. Now, if you would ask me this question 6 months ago, I would have said Joe Burrow, number one, starting him. But I did a little bit of research on some stats for us real quick. Lamar Jackson, of course, he has two MVPs, and he only had one season where he threw double-digit interceptions. Rushing yards, he had 2 seasons over 1,000 yards on the ground, that's amazing. And Josh Allen has had 5 out of his 6 seasons double-digit interceptions, which is crazy. But you got to think the touchdowns in the air a lot more than Lamar's. And he still has a good amount of rushing yards to add on to that. So, Joe Burrow, he's been hurt quite a bit, so his stats are not up to par to those two. But he had the most passing yards out of all three guys, 4,611 through the air. And he doesn't use his legs much compared to the other guys. So if I had to rank him in order, I'm going Josh Allen at 1, starting him, based on the fact that I feel like he's the best passing quarterback in the pocket. And he can use his legs on the ground, so he can take both of those worlds. 2, I'm going Lamar Jackson. I'm benching Lamar because 2-time MVP, uses legs, he can throw it. I mean, people have been dogging him in the past. He can't throw the ball or this, that, and the third. But past couple of seasons, he's been proven otherwise. And third, I'm going Joe Burrow. I'm cutting Burrow, as it pains me to say that one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. But his injury concerns in the past, it just really worries me. And he doesn't have the stats to really show for it compared to those other guys. Besides that one year where he had a ton of yards through the air. He doesn't utilize his legs much. So that's my reasoning behind it, everybody. And just let me know. Who are you starting? Who are you benching and who are you cutting?
I can't believe we had the same on that. I was actually really shocked.
Yeah. Me too. I was really shocked about that, actually. But we'll go ahead and move on to our next topic at hand. How much pressure is there this year on Jason Tatum to win the finals? Scale it 1 through 10.
11.
Whew.
I think a lot of pressure's on. Boston. It's been 15 years since Boston won a chip.
Yep.
It's been a long time. So
Long time.
2008, like when KG, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, to think that those names were still together on the Boston. Like that's how long it's been.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is I did a lot of stats on this. Jason Tatum was drafted in 2017, so he played the 2018 season and up. And so his rookie year, they were second in the East, 55-27. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals and lost 4-3. Then they finished fourth in 2019. They were 49-33. They made it to the second round, went and lost 4-1. Then we got the third year, which is the bubble. I'm going to throw that out there ahead of time. It was the bubble. But they were finished third in the East, 48-24. They went to the third round again, 4-2 against Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Then in 2021, they finished seventh in the East. It was like their worst year. They went 36-36. It was a bad year. So like that was the worst they did. They still made the playoffs with 36 wins. They got knocked out in the first round 4-1. Then the 2022 season, they went to the finals. They lost 4-2. And then 2023, they went 57-25. Like they played incredible throughout the season. Went to the third round of the playoffs and they got knocked out 4-3. Went to Game 7. They're constantly in contention. Like I mean, top 3,
Yeah.
top 4 in the East every year besides one. Like you've been good. You got the regular season experience. He balls out in the playoffs. He's like third youngest, like under 27 or 28
Mm-hmm.
points. He's balling out. They look really good. Porzingis gets hurt, and don't get me wrong, but I think it's super, super, like, there's a lot of pressure on Tatum over this. Like, he's got to get a chip this year, and I think if he's going to get it, this is the year to do it. I think if you get Porzingis back, and the way it's looking in the West, there's a good chance you're playing a real young team, and I think that's going to be the benefit to get them over, hopefully. But yeah, Jason Tatum's got to get a ring. Boston don't like going too long without a chip.
Mm.
This is their like second biggest drought ever. The other time was like 86 before that. So before the 2008, the last time they won was 86. It's a big jump. So
Man.
like you got to get that taken care of. Like a chip is super important in Boston. You got to get it done. So I don't know what they're gonna do if they don't. But he's got to get a chip this year, next year at least, or there's going to be talks. That's all I'm going to say.
Ooh, a little spicy there.
I'm just saying, like, if you got a guy for so long and nothing's like getting done, you got to look at it. They've already took away pieces that he was friends with along the way of this journey. So how much longer before they can't get it done that they look like maybe we should start looking for someone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you right here on this. I believe that Jason Tatum, the scale rating right here should be turned up to an 11. He should be feeling the pressure on this one to get the job done finally in Boston. He's got all the tools around him to succeed and finally win a championship. I mean, Kristaps Porzingis being hurt is definitely going to damper their expectations in round 2, but it should not prohibit them from advancing to round 3, in my opinion. And by then, if they reach the Eastern Conference Finals, they should have him back. So Jason Tatum has got to bring a championship back to Boston because, like you mentioned, they've made Eastern Conference Finals so many years, but they've constantly got knocked out. And they have great seasons during the regular season, but when it comes to playoff time, they fail almost every single year to make it to the championship. Besides the one year they made it to the Warriors, and they lost in 6 games. But you didn't get the job done
that year. So
yeah, exactly. But Jason Tatum, man, you have the pressure. Like you mentioned, they have the easiest path to get to the finals this year. I mean, they literally have the Cavs up. They're 1-0 on the Cavs right now. And if they beat them, they'll play the winner of the Pacers and the Knicks. That's your path to get to the finals, Jason Tatum. And you best believe the Celtics are the favorites out of the East to play. And like another point you mentioned, I love the young teams in the West. They're great right now. Wolves, Thunder, but they lack experience. That's something that the Celtics have to offer on the table right now. So if you would like to see maybe the Celtics play a young Thunder squad or a Wolves squad, because they might take advantage of that inexperience.
I'm gonna be real. If I'm Boston, I would much rather play the Pacers than play the Knicks next series.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the Pacers have a great young team. Don't get it twisted. They play at such a high pace, but their defense is atrocious. And the Knicks, Jalen Brunson has been balling. He has 4 straight 40-point games, and that Knicks team is looking legit. So I would rather play the Pacers.
Man, I'm becoming a big Brunson fan. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he is impressing me so much.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely a stud. And looking back on that contract, a lot of people were saying, oh, why'd they give him that much money? But looking back on it now, it was worth every penny to be a New York Knick. And honestly, if the Knicks play the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, that's going to be a sight to see. Because you know the New York media is going to be popping because they have not made it that far in years, decades.
No, it's been a long time. Ewing kind of days.
Yeah. But let us know, everybody, down below, how much pressure is on Jason Tatum? Scale it 1 through 10. We'll go ahead and move on. Transitioning to the next topic, everybody. Pump the brakes way too early. College football top 5 best teams in your eyes. Who do you think are the top 5 best teams right now?
It's gonna be controversial. This is still early, people, so don't grill me too hard in the comments over this. I'm taking Ole Miss.
Ooh, at 1?
No, this isn't in no order. This is in
no order, everybody, no order. Okay.
Ohio State. Notre Dame. Miami.
Ooh, okay.
And FSU.
Florida State. Okay, you got 2 Florida teams in there.
They got so many transfers through the offseason. They took a lot of transfers from Bama. They took a lot of transfers from everybody. I think FSU is going to be good. Miami was good last year. They had a couple mistakes that they should have fixed. Because I really thought Miami was going to end up undefeated playing against FSU at the end of the year. Didn't end up happening, but I think FSU is still going to be strong. And Notre Dame is my sleeper team this year. I think I got some belief in the Fighting Irish on this year. But Ole Miss, they look incredible. Like, just the talent that they have. If they don't get it done, that's on them. This is your best year in a long time. And Ohio State just they locked and loaded. They lost some good pieces, but they lost. Still think the best prospect in the draft. But oh well. I think they're still gonna be solid.
Yeah, for sure. I like your selections. A couple of picks, a little spicy, having Miami in there. I mean, you never know, though. It's like we said, way too early. We'll have to wait and see. That Miami team might show up and show out this season. But my top 5 right here, I've got, in order, I've got Georgia at 1.
Ooh.
Number 2, I've got Ohio State. Number 3, I've got Texas. Number 4, I've got Oregon. And number 5, I've got Ole Miss. So we've got 2 of the same. We've got Ohio State and Ole Miss. So I'm a big believer in Ole Miss, everybody. Starting off with them first. Jackson Dart is legit. One of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in next year's class. I think he's going to deliver under Lane Kiffin's offense. And that defense is heavily underrated. So I think they'll definitely make some noise next year and be in consideration for being a top 5 team. Number 4, Oregon. I love their team. They've got a solid defense upcoming next year. Bo Nix leaving. We'll see what they do at the quarterback position and see how their offense flourishes. But I think they'll have one of the best teams in the country next year. Texas. Arch Manning. Offense. He's going to have to wait another year because Quinn Ewers is coming back.
Yeah, he is.
So, Quinn Ewers, this will be your last ride. I'm interested to see how you do. that defense, we'll see how they show up, but I've got high expectations for this Longhorn squad again this year.
I wonder where he's going to go in the draft.
Quinn Ewers? Yeah, I don't know. He's got first-round ability if he plays up to his ability. I mean, I don't know, man. It's really tough to tell because he's going to be a little bit older by the time he declares. But I would say probably middle to the end of the round one. It all depends on how he does this year.
Will we see Archie Manning play this year?
No, Arch will have to wait another year
Okay.
unless he decides to transfer, but he'll probably take over the year after Ewers leaves.
I was curious. I'm like, I wonder if Archie's going to be a Cowboy. You just wait and see.
That would be something, wouldn't it? But number 2, I've got Ohio State, everybody. They have got such high expectations with Harbaugh leaving, McCarthy out of town. They finally got the boys that cannot get over the hump with. They out the building, so you ain't got to worry about them no more. So Ohio State's been the little brother the last few years. They haven't been able to beat Big Brother. But now you have the chance to knock them off. And I think this year, Ryan Day, he's got everybody in the building believing that they can do it. And if he doesn't get it done this year, best believe he's getting fired because he had a lot of expectations last year. 100%. Getting Ole Miss's star running back Quinshon Judkins was a huge addition. So they've got all the talent in the world to be a top 5 team this year. And I think they will be a top 5 team. And number 1, we've got the Georgia Bulldogs, everybody. So their defense every single season is legit. I mean, you can't question the defense. And you got Carson Beck ramping up the offense. So I think Kirby Smart will have them boys ready to be another top 5 squad this upcoming year.
Don't forget they did lose their star running back.
That is true, but they always lock and load with talent on offense, man. Seems like every year we talk about them Bulldogs losing some pieces, but they come back in stride.
I will have to see how it goes. I'm not high on the Bulldogs this year. We'll see.
Really?
Not really. I will see.
Yeah, I noticed they weren't in your top 5, but we'll have to wait and see where they finish.
No, I think they're a top 10 team, but top 5.
Hey,
we'll have to see.
Little honorable mention to my Big Orange, UT, Tennessee, go Vols, baby. I know Nico is definitely going to be a Heisman candidate this year. I'm ready and excited to watch him play. But I think Tennessee they'll probably be like a top 10 fringe team. I won't say top 5, but I'm going to have to wait and see how they play.
So you had them super high last year.
I did, and Joe Milton hampered my expectations and crumbly defeated myself with that because we did not go as far as I wanted us to.
No, it's okay. At least you don't have to play like even. I have to play like nine ranked teams next year. No.
Yeah, Florida's got it rough, man. I'm sorry.
Hardest schedule in college football.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but I'm here for it. I'm glad y'all got to go through a little rough patch. But
hey, you're gonna beat us this year. Trust me. It's in Neyland.
Yeah.
You're gonna beat us. It
is in Neyland, so we've got that on our side. Whenever we go to the swamp, we usually lose, unfortunately. It's two insane environments, what I might add real quick, though, because the swamp, extremely tough to play in. And Neyland Stadium, extremely tough. The crowd gets livid, and they get going. They're very passionate. SEC football, it's hard to beat that, man. I mean, you got Death Valley, LSU. You got the 12th man, Texas A&M. Aggies, I mean, SEC football, home field advantage is real, everybody. But go ahead and transition to the next part of the segment, everybody. So, we have the great race of 98. We got MLB home run hitting legends, Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. So, I watched an ESPN documentary over this other night, and it very just caught my attention. It caught my eye. It was intriguing. So right off rip, I'll give you all a little bit of information about it if you're not really into baseball much, which I'm not a huge baseball fanatic, but this one really stood out to me. So in 1994, MLB had a lockout, and the interest really died from the fans, and this in 98 really captivated the country because they were trying to break the home run record, and they were chasing 70. Who could get to 70 first? Roger Maris, I believe, had the home run record at 61. And also, I'm going to add this real quick. This was the era of steroids, everybody. MLB, they were passing around steroids, and McGwire didn't come out that he used steroids until 2010. So, little foreshadowing, if you will. So, breaking the record. This was in early September. The Cubs and the Cardinals met in a series where McGwire was sitting at 60 home runs, and on September 7th, he hit number 61 to tie the record. Followed up the next day for 62 to officially break the record. With almost a full month left in the season, McGwire broke the record. And the crazy thing is that Sosa was not far behind and would break Maris's record single-handedly pretty easy as well. They ended up getting, Mark McGwire got 70 total home runs, which was astonishing. And Sammy Sosa got 66, which was wild. I mean, going back and forth. Seems like every day people was just tuning in to see on the radio or going to the games and checking off, if Sammy hit a home run, they check it off, or if McGwire hit a home run, they check it off. But, man, that was a time in baseball where the whole country was tuned in and just extremely electric. And I wish I could have personally seen it, but unfortunately I was not born yet, and I could not witness history. But this was a special moment. And if you didn't notice, Chicago Cubs, St. Louis Cardinals, big rivalry in baseball, so that made it even more interesting.
Oh, that's awesome. I love when the whole country gets invested in something. I just love it.
Whew. It's insane, man. And honestly, there'll probably be nothing like that ever again. Just two guys going for the record at the same time. And McGwire was a little bit older than Sammy, but they both loved the competitive spirit. And a lot of people, including Roger Maris's family, thought that after that he came out with the steroid use information that they believe Roger should still hold the record. And McGwire backed that up. He always thought a lot of that family, and whenever he came out with the steroid usage claim, he really was trying to hold it in, but eventually it got information leaked and kind of had to come out with it, and you could tell that he was really devastated by that. But I don't know. What do you guys think about this in 98 as a captivating moment in baseball history?
I mean, I think it's amazing.
Enough said.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
it. It's just a cool time. And there's a lot of times like that in different sports. I wish I was there to witness, like just how much people are invested in stuff.
Exactly. But we'll go ahead and move on to our last topic of the day, everybody. So we've got NFC and AFC positional grades for quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end, and defense. So we'll start off with AFC first. Let's go ahead and start off with that tough division, AFC North. AFC. Quarterback first. Who you got up?
Best quarterback in the AFC North is, in my opinion, Lamar Jackson. 2-time MVP, like we talked about. I just think he's the best. He's better than Watson. He's better than Wilson. Burrow's his only competition, and they've both been hurt some, but Lamar's got the accolades to back it up, even though Burrow's got the Super Bowl appearance.
I agree. So what are you ranking 3 and 4 for quarterback?
Probably I'd go. Yeah, it'd go Lamar, Burrow, Wilson, Watson. Man's been hurt. He hasn't played much in the last 3 years. I'd rather take Wilson, who actually showed promise last year. I mean, if I'm the Browns, I'd rather have Flacco back.
Whew. Oh, man. Watson has not looked the same ever since leaving the Texans. But I'm in agreement with you, actually. Full list, I think it should go Lamar, Action Jackson at 1, Joe Burrow 2. And I'm hoping for a healthy Joe Burrow, everybody. Let's pray that he does not get hurt. Joe Burrow at 2. Number 3, I've got Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh. I think he'll have a pretty solid year. And last, I've got Deshaun Watson at 4. So what about running back room? What about running backs in the AFC North?
Henry, number 1. No doubt
Yeah.
on that. I forget who the Bengals' new running back is. I'm not gonna lie. But I would probably, if Nick Chubb is healthy, I'm taking Nick Chubb too.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb, arguably, I'd take one if he wasn't coming after off an injury.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna take Henry on that. Then Chubb, then Najee Harris at 3.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, Nick Chubb, when healthy, is one of the best backs in the league. And I've got Derrick Henry still at 1. So I've got Ravens backfield. I've got Ravens 1. 2, I've got Nick Chubb. 3, I'll probably go with Najee. And 4, I know they let go of Joe Mixon. But that running back room in Cincy, I would probably put at 4. But yeah, let me know down below. Who do you have in the running back room? But receivers, we'll do wide receiver 1 and 2 for AFC North. Who do you got?
I'm taking Bengals number 1, Higgins and Chase.
Mm,
I'm probably gonna say the Ravens with Zay Flowers, and like they had OBJ last year, which I mean he didn't do
yeah.
much, uh, but I like Amari Cooper better. So like that's where I'm torn, and I like George Pickens. Uh, Give me the Ravens too.
Mm.
Give me Browns 3, Steelers 4.
Browns 3, Steelers 4. Okay. Let me think about it. I've got Bengals at 1. I've got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Number 2, I'm going to go with the Browns here. I've got the Browns at 2. I've got Amari. And number 3, that's tough. I got the Steelers, though. I got George Pickens and company. But 4, that's tough, man. I guess I got to go 4 with the Ravens. I know Zay Flowers I like and Mark Andrews, but he's the tight end, so can't
Okay.
include him in that. But yeah, I'm going to go Zay Flowers at 4 for receivers. What about tight ends, though? Tight ends for AFC North.
Andrews number 1.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm taking Njoku at 2. I'm a big fan of Njoku. I forget the other 2 tight ends. I'm gonna say Bengals Steelers. I forget the one for the Steelers, but I think that's right.
Yeah, Pat Fryermuth.
Yeah.
Mm. I'm going to go, of course, Mark Andrews at 1. 2, I'm going to go with Pat Fryermuth from the Steelers. 3, I'm going to go David Njoku of the Browns. And 4, I'll go Cincinnati. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty clear cut of who number 1 should be. It's easily Mark Andrews. But for defenses, this will be pretty easy in my
I
opinion.
think so too.
So start us off with defenses for AFC North.
Defenses, I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers number 1. Yeah. Yeah. For this next season, yeah, 100%. I'm taking them number 1. I'm taking.
Woo!
Hey, watch out for them Steelers. I'm telling you now. Watch out for them Steelers. Taking the Steelers defense number 1. I'm taking the Ravens number 2. I'm taking the Browns number 3 and the Bengals 4.
Browns at 3. Okay.
Myles Garrett is incredible. I don't want I know I'm going to get so much hate for this. I think their defense is going to be on the field so much that they're going to be getting wore out and they're going to get stats put up on them.
Yeah.
That's why. I think the Steelers' offense this year will be better. They'll be able to keep the defense off the field as much, and so they're rested. The Ravens, I have it too because they did lose a couple pieces, but they're still good.
Yeah.
And the Bengals, I just got last because sorry.
I feel you. I definitely got Cincy at last as well. Number 1, got a little bit of a difference though. So 1, I've got the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, they got one of my favorite corners in the draft this year, Nate Wiggins, baby. So I think they've got just a tremendous defense they're building around in Baltimore. Number 2, I've got the Steelers. I agree with you on that. Pittsburgh, TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick. Them boys, they know how to ball. 3, I've got the Browns. No disrespect, Cleveland. You guys have a top defense in the league, but you're not better than the other 2 guys in front of you. And then at 4, I've got the Cincinnati Bengals.
Let's not forget, the Steelers did get Peyton Wilson.
Very true. He's a dog. He is a dog. He's going to be a really good linebacker for them this year.
I think
All
that's
right.
pretty good.
Next division, everybody. AFC South. Quarterback. Rank them.
Stroud, Richardson,
Hmm.
T. Law, Levis.
Ooh, okay, okay.
I am not high on T. Law. I am not. I'm still not. I had to fight with myself not to pick Levis over T. Law. Yeah,
Really?
I'm not sold on T. Law. I have never been sold on
That's
him. I know
crazy.
people gonna hate on me, but like he's never done anything to impress me. Like I just don't see it.
All right, yeah, we have a little bit of a difference on this one. I've got, of course, CJ Stroud at 1. 2, I've got Trevor Lawrence. 3, I've got Will Levis. And 4, I've got Anthony Richardson. See, I love Anthony Richardson. I love his potential and upside, but from what I've seen right now, I'm going with Will Levis because I've seen more of him and his production. And Anthony Richardson he was hurt most of last year, so we can't really, in my opinion, put him above Will Levis or CJ Stroud, of course, or Trevor.
What he was doing last year was incredible, though. Like I got what I saw, I was
It
like,
was,
holy
but
crap!
I would not put it above Will Levis's 4 touchdown performance against the Steelers, who had one of the best defenses in the league at the time.
That's true, but they also had the worst offense in the league as well. But I was
Yeah.
thinking more of another reason was I was just man, Anthony. We also agreed that we think Anthony Richardson is going to have a breakout season this season.
Oh, for sure.
So that's
Yeah.
another reason why I'm like I got to have him higher because I think he's going to break
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. I feel you on that. I think Anthony Richardson will definitely have a great year. Um,
I'm excited.
so let's transition to the running back room, everybody. Running backs. So who do you got? Rank them in order.
Jonathan Taylor's still in the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has the most potential out of them. Personally. Then Tony Pollard went. Tony Pollard did nothing last year. I just want everyone to know that. Like people are like, get rid of Zeke. Tony Pollard should be the starter. Which I said. I said that. I 100% said it. So
Yeah.
I'm like Tony Pollard did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. So I'm like, okay. I'm gonna go with Jonathan Taylor. I think is the best running back when he's playing, not sitting out. But Zach Moss took a lot of his carry last year too.
He did.
Joe Mixon, I would have it 2. Who's the Jags running back? I'm trying to think of who's that.
Travis Etienne.
I'd probably say Etienne, and then Pollard. After Pollard's season last year, he was so bad.
Yeah. I've got a different list than you. I'm sorry. I'm gonna explain why.
Okay.
I'm gonna explain why real quick. So, Travis Etienne is the best running back in the division when he's healthy. He's a do-it-all back. He can catch passes out of the backfield, can run between the tackles. I mean, he just puts up numbers every single game that he's utilized. I think he's better than Jonathan Taylor currently. I've got Jonathan Taylor at number 2. I think he's a great running back, but in my opinion, and currently, I think Etienne is better. Number 3, I've got Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon at 3. Still a great running back, but I don't think he's better than Etienne or Taylor. And 4, I've got Tony Pollard. And I like Tony. I like Tony, don't get me wrong, but last year he didn't have a great season at all. So maybe he can have a bounce back year in Tennessee.
He might. I think Tennessee's still got some time before they're going to be a competitor. I think that division's going to be tough here in another year or two, like real tough.
It really will. Wide receiver 1 and 2, who you got?
Ooh. Oh, easy. I'm taking the Texans. Texans have the best receiving core in this division, 100%. Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Nico Collins. I mean, they were great last year, and now you just added Diggs, which I've got issues with Diggs, but as just a player himself, he's good. He's really good. So yeah, they got the best wide receiver room. I probably say Titans next. Calvin Ridley, D Hop, Tyler Boyd.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
that's pretty nasty.
Like just solid wide receiver room. I gotta go with them. Even though I think Michael Pittman is a great wide receiver, I'd probably have to take Titans too. And then who did Jags pick up? I'm trying to think of who they picked up in the offseason. Because they lost Ridley. They pick him. They didn't pick him big. I don't think.
Mm-mm.
I'll
I mean, they've got.
probably see the Colts next, then, and then Jags last.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Jags didn't really do a whole lot of the offseason to help with Trevor Lawrence. They let go of Calvin Ridley. So, number one, wide receiver room. I've got the Texans, I agree. I mean, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and boys, they're going to be ballers. Already are, but they're going to show out in Houston, I feel like. Two, I think the Tennessee Titans, I mean, they got Tyler Boyd and D-Hop, Calvin Ridley. Put some respect on Traylon Burks, too. So, I mean, Burks hasn't really broke out yet, but I think he's got the potential to. And then I'll probably put the Jags at 4 and Colts at 3. Colts with A.D. Mitchell, they drafted from Texas. Huge addition with Michael Pittman Jr. And honestly, I could consider them at the 2 spot. I really could. But I'll put them at 3, and then last I got the Jags.
I think we both put the Titans that high because of the fact they do have a more of a depth. They can spread the ball a little bit more.
Yeah.
Comparatively to the Colts, even though I think the Colts don't have a nasty little duo next season. But that's my thoughts on it. I think that division is gonna be tough, man. Give it another year, another draft. I think it's gonna be tough.
No, the young quarterbacks, AFC South, that's going to be something to keep an eye out for sure. What about the tight ends in the AFC South, though? What's your opinion on that?
Dalton Schultz probably number one. He had an incredible season last year. They re-signed him for the Texans.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
I'd probably say him number one. I'm gonna be real. I don't remember the other three off the top of my head that much.
Evan Ingram for the Jags.
Who's the Colts tight end? I always forget.
They've got Jelani Woods, and they've got Mo Wiley Cox.
I'd probably just take the Jags at 2.
and
And then I don't even know the Titans either.
Titans got Big O. Chris, I don't know how to pronounce the last name. I'm being real. I'm sorry. I just call him Big O. He's a good tight end. He's quick. I like him.
We'll take Titans at 3. Colts
and Austin Hooper too.
So yeah, we'll take Jags 2, Colts, Titans 3, Colts 4.
See, this is interesting now, everybody. The tight ends in the AFC South, they're not really separating each other by a lot. So in my opinion, I've got that's tough. At 1, I think if you want dependability, you go Schultz. If you want big playability, you're going Evan Ingram. I like the upside of Evan Ingram more, so I'm going to go Ingram at 1 from Jacksonville. 2, I'll go Schultz. 3, I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with the Titans. I'm sorry, Colts fans. I'm going Big O and Austin Hooper. Big O is just very underrated, in my opinion. And 4, I'm going to go Jelani Woods and Mo Wiley Cox. But, I mean, you could maybe switch 4 and 3, but I've got the Titans slightly above them.
I'm sorry. I only think about maybe 7 tight ends in the league, and then there's everybody else.
Yeah. I can't blame you on that one. Let's go to defenses though to wrap up the AFC South.
I'm gonna say Texans number 1 in this. I think they have a stellar defense. I think they've really improved, and I mean, even they got that guy Will Anderson won Defensive Player of the Year or Rookie Defensive Player of the Year last season. I think their defense is going to stay good. I'm probably going to take the Colts at 2, Jags 3, yep. Titans 4. Even though,
okay.
Yeah, I want to say move the Titans up. Actually, they got Snead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move them up to 3, Jags 4. Yeah. I think Jags fall off this year. I think it's gonna be a heavy fall off.
Man, that defense. I like the Colts defense a lot. Actually, they're very sneaky and underrated.
Got a lot.
Cute, yeah. I'm taking Colts at 1. I like their defense a lot, actually. Secondary, Kenny Moore. Latu. I like him a lot. I was huge on him. And I've got the Houston Texans at 2 They got some stars on that defense. Will Anderson. They got Daniil Hunter too, man. I forgot
Yeah.
about that. Ooh. And then I like Derek Stingley a lot. A lot. That corner position locking down that side of the ball. So I think it'll be close, interchangeable, honestly. Putting Houston at 2. Number 3, I've got the Titans with Snead, and they've got some pretty good pass rushers. 4, I've got the Jags at last on that.
All right. All right.
But AFC East. So quarterbacks, who you got?
Taking Josh Allen, even though I want to say Aaron Rodgers.
Oh
uh,
man.
Me personally, I'm going Josh Allen. So Bills number 1. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers number 2.
Yeah.
Tua at 3. Drake May at 4. I got to see Drake May first. This is a rookie year. I can't.
Mm.
Maybe halfway through the season, I have him above Tua. There's a good shot of it, but as of right now, I can't. So that's my order. I got May at last, or Milton, whoever starts.
That's crazy, but that's a fair assumption. I agree with you on that list actually entirely. I like Josh Allen at 1, the clear cut 1, and Rodgers at 2, coming off the Achilles. I think he'll have a great year in New York. I really do. I think the Jets will have a good offense, surround him with talent. And number 3, I've got Tua. And, man, they've got some interesting offensive talent this year. They add another running back to the room. They sign OBJ. So I think Tua could have a really solid season. And lastly, I've got Drake May. Unproven rookie, Patriots. Enough said.
No, so we agree on
Running back.
running backs.
Yeah.
Brees Hall, number 1.
Yeah.
What's his face? Out of the Dolphins. Archie.
Etienne. Yeah.
I got him at 2. I've got Bills.
Dalvin's brother.
Yeah, I got Bills
James
at 3. I had him on. Oh my goodness, give me a second. Oh, I had him on my freaking fantasy team. James Cook.
James Cook. Yeah.
At 3, and then Patriots 4. I don't even. Zeke's not there, so I don't even know who their running back at the moment is.
Damian Harris.
Yeah,
I know it's Oh man, this is gonna kill me. It was Harris last year for a bit, but then they had this one guy. It started with an H. I can't remember exactly. People, don't kill us in the comments. This is off the rip, off our domes.
This is also like our off season, like from football. So we're like trying to remember everything.
Exactly. But yeah, my order I've got is Brees Hall at 1. 2, I have. That's tough. James Cook, I like James Cook at 2. Number 3, I'm going Achane. If he can stay healthy, he's going to be one of the best backs. But I don't know. I predicted him to have a sophomore slump, and I'm standing by that. I think he's got good talent, but I think he's going to have a sophomore slump.
I'm glad you stand by your point, though.
Yeah, I'm standing by my point. So he's got good talent, but I think he has a sophomore slump. So 3, I got A-Chain, and 4, Damian Harris or whoever it is for the Patriots back. But we're going on to the wide receivers now. What do you think?
Miami, hands down. Miami.
Yeah.
Then I got the Jets second.
I agree. Who do you have?
Jets second.
Yeah.
Bills. Oh no. I was gonna say. Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Bills 3 and then Patriots.
Patriots don't have any receiver.
They got one. Like
Juju.
Yeah. Well, who'd they draft?
Yeah,
they drafted a wide receiver too.
Well, they drafted some late round guys.
Oh, I thought they drafted somebody like second round. Like Lad McConkey or something.
No, he went to the Chargers.
Oh, my bad. I forgot. Bill's not there no more.
Yeah.
That's how I have it. But yeah.
Receivers. Yeah. Let's see, number 1 for receivers.
You're going to tell me anything other than Miami, I'll be shocked.
Nah, I ain't gonna go. I've got Tyreek and Waddle for Miami, and
OBJ.
number two,
Don't forget OBJ's
OBJ,
there.
of course. Yeah, OBJ. Um, Number two, I've got the Jets. You got Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson and a lot Malachi Corley, wide receiver three. So I like their offensive wide receiver talent. Number three, though, I'm going Bills. Uh, I like their receiver room better than the Patriots, so I've got to put them at three and Pat's four.
Yeah, that's kind of how I went off of it.
I mean, because they got Keon Coleman, remember? In the draft? Bills did. So Keon Coleman and
they lost Diggs. They
they
lost
lost
Gabe
Diggs.
Davis.
Yeah.
Knox, they still have, but
They got Shakir, though, still. I think he's going to be a little underrated receiver for them this year.
I think Coleman balls out. I just think Coleman is such a good fit for Allen.
Yeah, big body target. Go up and get it. Honestly, he could be probably a pretty good fantasy wide receiver late round.
I think so, too. I'm thinking about it. I've been thinking about it, trust me.
Oh, man. Hopefully, yeah, we'll have to wait and see around fantasy time. But tight ends, rank them.
Bills, 1. I'm trying to remember the tight end room for the Patriots. They had Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki.
They had Jonnu Smith, but I think it's Gesicki. Yeah, it's Gesicki and Hunter Henry.
I actually like both of those tight ends, personally. I think they can be actual threats. I would probably say Patriots too. The one position they're going to be high in on this year. Then I'd say Jets Dolphins.
Jets Dolphins.
Yeah. So Bills, Pats, Jets, Dolphins.
I like that. Actually, I think I'm going to pick the same order, not to bandwagon you, but the Bills.
Sometimes they're just correct answers.
Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox. I mean, that's enough said. And then everybody else follows after that. Defenses, though.
Ooh. This one's hard. I think all their defenses are going to be kind of like easy to undermine. They lost all of them lost a lot of pieces this offseason.
Yeah.
Dolphins did get Chop Robinson, which I think was a big pickup for them. But I think they should have focused more on O-line than a edge personally.
Yeah.
But oh well. I'm gonna say I'm not gonna say any of these defenses are gonna be super great, but I'm gonna say Jets 1, Patriots 2, Bills 3, Dolphins 4. They were banged up a lot. Dolphins were banged up super heavy last year. So
I like that order.
Because don't forget, Gonzalez was tearing it up at the corner position last year.
Exactly. The Patriots usually have a top defense, regardless of their offense. Man, I like Sauce. I like some pieces on defense that the Jets have. I'm going to say Patriots 1, actually. I like Patriots defense. 2, I'm going to go Jets.
I had to say them 2 because Bill's part of the reason that defense was so good.
Yeah, that's very true. Mastermind on the defensive end. I've got Bills 3, even though they lost a lot of their vets. They filled some young guys in those holes. But 4, Dolphins. Like you said, banged up. And we'll have to wait and see what they can do on the defense side of things. But we're going to move on, everybody. AFC West. Last division in the AFC. Quarterback. Go.
I think it's going to be... the quarterback position is not going to be hard, but everything else I think is going to be kind of difficult.
Yeah, that's true.
Patty Mahomes, number 1. No decision. Like, I didn't have to think very hard on that. Herbert 2. I think Herbert's still an amazing QB. I'm going to say Gardner Minshew 3. And whoever starts for the Broncos 4.
Oh man, yeah. I'm in agreement with you again here. I think it's pretty simple, clear cut. Should not have any other order. Should be Patrick Mahomes, Herbert, Minshew, and then the rookie or whoever they decide to start at 4.
Minshew's better than Trevor Lawrence. There, I said it.
There you have it, everybody. Take that as you will. All right. So running backs, who you got?
Running backs.
I mean,
Ponchero.
you got
I got Ponchero number
you got
one.
Pacheco, you got Pacheco,
Pacheco's number one.
and then
The Raiders lost Josh
Josh
Jacobs.
Jacobs. They got Zamir White. Zamir White's good. And then they've got Chargers. They let go
Yeah,
of Austin Eckler.
Eckler's gone.
They yeah.
I'm gonna say Raiders too.
Broncos country.
I don't even know who they're running back.
Javonte Williams.
Nah, I'll take Chargers 3, Broncos 4.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I think Denver's gonna have another bad year.
Yeah. I like Javonte Williams though. He's not a bad running back. He's pretty solid when healthy. Running back room, I go Pacheco 1. Number 2, I'm gonna go Javonte 2. I'm gonna go the Broncos 2. 3, I go Zamir White, Raiders, and 4, I'm gonna go with the Chargers backfield.
Whoever it is.
Yeah. All right, receiver time.
This is the one that's hard for me. I don't think anybody's got a great wide receiver room. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna say Raiders 1 because I got Devontae Adams. I mean, that's what I have to go off. I know he can complete passes that are thrown to him. Unlike the Chiefs, technically have the worst. Like they have one of the worst receiving cores. I think they're still better than the Chargers right now. But like in retrospect, I'm probably going Raiders 1, Broncos 2, Chiefs 3, Chargers 4.
Yeah.
Because Cortland Sutton is super good. I think slept on a little bit. He can make great catches and like in traffic and in the red zone. But Devontae Adams has been an elite wide receiver for many years. I really have to give him the benefit of the doubt here. I'd have him 1, like because of him, he's 1. Broncos 2, Chiefs 3 because they have receivers. They just don't catch all the time. And the Chargers have basically a brand new wide receiver room. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. The Chargers have the worst one, but the Chiefs have the second worst. But they just came off a Super Bowl.
I feel that. I mean, the Chiefs got Xavier Worthy. They got Rashee Rice, but that's about it.
Well, Rashad's probably not going to play this year.
Yeah, exactly. But if I had to rank them, I'm gonna go. You made some good points about Devontae. I mean, having him, that's a quarterback's dream. So I'll roll with you on that. I got Raiders at 1. Number 2, I'm gonna go with the Chargers at 2. Actually, I know they lost some pieces. Quentin Johnston, not very good, but they got Ladd McConkey, and they got Jerry Rice's son, Brandon Rice. So I think those 3 are enough to put them at 2. And at the number 3 spot, I've got the Broncos with Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton. And at 4, I've got the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs have a terrible wide receiver room. I'm sorry. Like they should have a great wide receiver room for like having the best QB, but they don't.
No, it's awful.
I watched Xavier Worthy like have a pass come right out of his hands in practice. I was like, no, it's the curse starts again.
Well, what do you think about the tight ends though?
Kelsey number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's that difficult. I'll be real. I don't remember. I have a hard time with tight ends. Remembering who's where. Plus,
Brock Bowers. Michael Mayer.
I'm gonna take Brock Bowers too. I'm high on him. I know he's not. We haven't seen anything, but I think he's gonna come out like hot. I think he's gonna be used a lot. I think Minshew's going to have a really good like connection with him.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the Raiders too on this one. Kelsey number one, of course. There's no doubt
Yeah.
on that. Uh, is it Broncos 3, Chargers 4?
Yeah. I'm in agreement with you on that once again. I mean, Travis Kelce easily number one here. Number two, I love the upside of Brock Bowers, and they got Michael Mayer as well, who's pretty underrated and probably gonna be underutilized. And three, did you say Broncos at three?
Yeah.
Broncos at three, I like it. I like Adam Trotman pretty good. And then four, I'd probably go with the Chargers on that. So time for defenses, everybody. Let's wrap it up.
Oh, so the defense that I like the most in this one because I think the Chiefs lost some pieces on defense. They lost Snead. So me personally, I'm going Raiders number one. I like their defense. I think they got a lot of personality, and I think they're getting better. I think the Raiders are getting as a team overall just getting better. So I'm gonna say they had 8 wins last year. I wouldn't be surprised if they get 10 wins this season. I know that division's tough because you got the Chiefs, but everybody else, the Broncos and the Chargers are probably still gonna be in rebuild mode. So getting that second spot won't be too difficult.
That's true.
So I'm going to take the Raiders defense at 1. Chargers was so banged up last year too, and they weren't great. The Chiefs defense, I would probably have Chiefs 2. Raiders 1, Chiefs 2. Broncos have like Surtain, which I really like, but like he's like it on defense. So I kind of have like them 3, Chargers 4.
Man, we've got different defenses for sure. Number 1, I've got the Denver Broncos.
Really?
Pat Surtain. I mean, they had a good run last year with their defensive pieces. I mean, they don't have a lot of, if you will, known names besides Patrick Surtain and a couple other players on that defense. But they're very productive, and I think they'll be the best defense in that division next year. Number 2, I've got the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe you had them at 2 as well. With the loss of Snead, they get back Chris Jones. I think they'll be fine, but I like them at 2 in their division. Number 3, I've got the Chargers. On paper, they look decent. I know they've had the losses of some players on their veteran presence on defense, but overall, I mean, they still got some studs. Who's the safety to have? I'm blanking right now. Can you help me with this?
On the
Chargers. Darwin James. Still a very solid player. And yeah, that's the Raiders at last.
Wow, Max Crosby at last.
Yeah,
that's big.
And Christian Wilkins to the Raiders. I love that duo. I really do. I love that Raiders interior D-line duo with Crosby and Wilkins, but everybody else kind of scares me. That secondary is trash, bro. And the linebacker group is just decent at best.
Bro, I'm telling you, I think the Raiders will be on some shit next year. I think.
I mean, the offense will have to carry them in some games, man. And they'll have to bank on that secondary holding up.
Raiders, I think Raiders on the come up. I really do. I'm like, don't forget that Denver defense also got 70 points dropped on them last year.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. But they're determined, brother. But they flipped the switch after like the midway point in the season. After they got embarrassed by Miami, they started playing pretty good.
Yeah, no, they got better. But I'm also worried about like how they're another one. I'm like that defense is gonna be on the field a lot.
Probably. I mean, their offense is not going to be great next year, so that's a good point. So NFC time, NFC positional grades, everybody. Which division are you going to start with?
It don't matter to me, whichever.
All right, let's do NFC East. This will be entertaining.
NFC
So
East.
quarterbacks, how are you ranking those?
QBs. Oh, Danny Downs #1. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Kidding. Kidding.
Yeah.
Kidding. Kidding. I'm gonna say from what I've seen, I'm going Dak Prescott #1,
Mhm.
Jalen Hurts #2.
Yeah.
I have an unproven rookie. I gotta have him 4, so I'm taking Danny Dimes at 3. Malik Neighbors giving him a weapon is what I've been saying they need to do for a while. Like, so you got him a weapon. Now, if it doesn't work, that's whatever. Get rid of him. Do what you
Yeah.
want. But yeah, I'm taking Danny Dimes at 3 and Jaden Daniels at 4.
I like that. I think that's kind of the order you got to go with, in my opinion. I mean, Dak Prescott at 1, I feel like he is better than Jalen Hurts, more consistent overall for the most part. Jalen Hurts towards the back end of the year just looked atrocious. I know he was dealing with that finger issue heading into the playoffs, which definitely had probably a little bit of issues with him throwing the football. But overall, I would go Prescott 1, Hurts 2, 3. I'm going to go Daniel Jones, and 4, Jaden Daniels. I think unproven rookie definitely has the talent to beat out Daniel Jones for the 3rd spot, but, I mean, he's unproven, so we got to put him at 4, in my opinion.
So we're in agreement on that. All right.
Yeah. Running back room.
I think this
Running
one's
back.
pretty easy as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Saquon Barkley
Yep.
or the Eagles. People,
Yeah.
Eagles 1. Then everybody else is like basically the same. Like, there's like one clear cut on this. Like, it don't really matter to me. You can put anybody. They lost Tony Pollard. I don't. They're probably they re-signed Zeke, so I don't know if I'm going to put them very high. I probably put them almost last.
Whoa.
Zeke's done. Like, let's be real. Like, the last play before this, he was a center for the last play. I'm just not. Zeke's pretty done.
Hey, let's not forget he had 100 yards in the Patriots uniform one game.
He did. But everybody has one game.
Also, I remember the name of the running back from New England from previous video, Ramondre Stevenson, everybody. So if you flame us in the comments, don't, because I got the answer right here. But yeah, who else would you put after that?
I don't even know who the Giants running back is. That like their starter now, I have no idea.
I mean, they'll figure it out in camp. Yeah. Currently, we have no idea. It's way too early.
And the Commanders, who's the running back? Brian Thomas second.
No. Robinson. Brian
right?
Robinson. Yeah.
I'd probably put him too. I think he's good.
He is very good. Yeah.
Then I'm gonna put Cal. I don't even know who the Giants are, so I guess I'll put them last. Zeke, you're getting 3rd. Be lucky. Sorry.
Oh, man. I'm actually in agreement with you once again, as much as I hate to say it. No, I'm just kidding. But Saquon for the Eagles, this is the clear-cut choice, everybody. I mean, he's easily the best running back in the division, and he's running behind elite offensive line in Philly, even with Jason Kelce retiring. So, number 2, I've got Robinson for the Commanders. 3, I've got Zeke for Dallas. And 4th, I've got the Giants running back roulette room, whoever it is.
No change on that one. We're all the same on that. Back to back.
Yes, sir. All right, now receiver talk. Receivers, how are you ranking those?
That's actually kind of hard. I think 1 and 2 are hard. I think those are the ones I got. Like, am I taking Brandon Cooks and CeeDee Lamb? Which CeeDee Lamb looked impressive last year. But, I got to go Eagles #1, though, because I think Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, I just think they're the clear cuts on this. It's Cowboys 2nd. Malik Neighbors, I got to see what he does. I know Jalen Hyatt didn't perform as well as they wanted to, but I think he might get a little better. But right now I'm taking Scary Terry at 3, and I'm taking the Giants at 4.
Well, we're in agreement once again. So I've got the Eagles at 1 with Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown. He became the highest paid wide receiver this offseason, by the way. So there's that. But number 2, I've got Dallas. Like you mentioned, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks. Very close, I feel like, to number one just because of CeeDee Lamb's ability, but I put them at 2. Number 3, I've got Scary Terry in Washington, and 4th, I've got the New York Giants. I think Jalen Hyatt could possibly have a good year paired with Malik Neighbors, but I like Scary Terry better than what they got in New York.
Grants again, 3 straight.
Tight end time right now. How you ranking them?
Darren Waller's not on the Giants anymore, right?
He is still.
Oh, he is okay.
Mm-hmm. Injury prone, like a
yeah. He made glass. I like Darren Waller, but man, I told you I'm not good at tight ends.
No, you're good. I know who my number 1 is.
Say Eagles 1, Cowboys 2.
Dallas Goedert for the Eagles.
Yeah. Cowboys 2, Eagles 1. Darren Waller 3 when he's healthy.
Yeah.
I'll take
and Commanders
4.
Commanders 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we agree again. I've got Dallas. Yeah. NFC East. Let's just call it all agree. Mine as well. So I've got Dallas Goedert, excuse me, for the Eagles at 1. Number 2, I've got Jake Ferguson for Dallas, and I think both of those tight ends, young, very talented, exceptional athletes. Number 3, I've got Darren Waller. Like you mentioned, when healthy, he's a solid tight end, but he's never healthy. And number 4, I've got the Washington Commanders tight end room.
I think we're just in agreement. Defenses may be different. I don't know. We'll find
out. Defenses might be different because they have some good defenses in the NFC.
I'm gonna be real. I think 1 and 2 is like the only way we're gonna be different on this one.
Probably.
All right.
What do you have? What do you have?
I got Eagles 1. I think Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean are gonna like really help the DB because that's where they struggled the most. It's not on D line. It's DBs is where they needed the most help. Bradbury was kept getting torched. Mike Evans exposed him so heavy in that game in the playoffs. Yeah, I'm taking Eagles number 1. I felt like they did address what they needed, and that's so their defense is going to be better. Dallas 2 because Michael Parsons is a stud, and not only that, but like what's his face had like 6 interception returns for touchdowns, 5. Yeah. So let's not forget about that.
Yeah,
it could have been just a one-off season. Don't get me wrong, it totally could have. But as of right now, I got them 2. Then I'm actually going Giants 3. Commanders 4. I think that D-line is going to be so nasty for the Giants. Yeah. But I do think they're going to spend a lot of time on the field, so I may actually take Commanders and then Giants.
So what you sticking to, 3 or 4?
Commanders 3, Giants 4. I think the D-line is going to be nasty, but I don't think – and they lost some help on the DBs. I think they lost their safety, Xavier something.
Yeah.
So – they lost him. I think he went to Green Bay. So yeah, I'm gonna take Commanders 3, Giants 4.
I like it. So we have our first difference, everybody. Actually, NFC East. I've got the Dallas Cowboys having the best defense in that division. Michael Parsons. The loss of Trevon Diggs last year really hurt them. So I think getting him back will be huge. And they still have a solid D line. And overall, I think they've just got the best defensive unit. Dan Quinn coming back, or excuse me, he left. He went to the Commanders, didn't he, for their head coach? So that'll be interesting to see how they can fill his position and what they do this year on the defensive side of the ball for calling plays. But I like the Cowboys' defense better. Number 2, I got the Eagles. Like you mentioned, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. I mean, those 2 boys are going to lock out the outside corner positions and really solidify that defense because that's what was hurting them last year was the secondary. Still a talented group on defense. Number 3, I've got Washington. Man, I love the Commanders' defense. They are so talented, especially on the interior of the D-line. They got a 3-headed monster. They got Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and they drafted Newton from Illinois, the D tackle. He fell to round 2 early, and they picked him up. So they've got some cats out there in Washington that will, they'll definitely lock some guys up in the secondary, and they'll get after the quarterback as well. And lastly, the Giants. I like that interior D-line, like you mentioned. Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns. It's going to be nasty. But the rest of the defense, I'm a little iffy on, so that's why I've got them at 4.
And what's crazy to think about is don't forget just last year they had Devontae Sweat and Chase Young on that Commanders team.
Exactly. Yeah.
They just got rid of those.
Yeah. That is insane. Washington, they produce good D linemen, or they acquire or get good D linemen. So, yeah. But we'll go ahead and transition to our next division, NFC West. Quarterbacks.
Okay. Super easy. Brock Purdy number 1. Then I would do Matt Stafford 2, Kyler Murray 3, and Geno 4.
We have a little bit of a difference.
You can't tell me you got Brock Purdy outside top 2.
No. All right. So number 1, I've got Brock Purdy. Number 2, when healthy, Kyler Murray at 2. I love his upside of his ability on the ground, and I think Stafford's getting older, so I think he may show, a little bit of age this season, even though he's still been productive. But an injury concerns, that really scares me with Stafford. He's had more than his share in his career. 3, I've got Stafford. 4, I've got Geno.
Okay, so we had a difference in Matt Stafford and Kyler, but I was curious. I'm like, is he not taking Purdy number 1? I'll be a little shocked because you gotta give Purdy credit. I mean, the dude's been to back-to-back NFC championships. He has a really good shot at going again this year. Could you imagine going to 3 in back-to-back seasons? Like nobody would talk about that. Like nobody talks about it. But
I do think the NFC is going to be a little bit stronger though, with like the young talent kind of coming through and developing though. So we'll see if they can get back. What about for running backs? Who you got?
CMC number 1, hands down.
Yeah.
I want to put Williams at 2.
Kyron Williams.
Yeah, I'll probably say him. Even though Seattle's got a good running back as well.
Yeah. Zach Charbonnet.
Yeah, he's 3, and the Cardinals 4. Because I don't even remember. Last time it was
James Conner?
Yeah, I'm not sold. James Conner is not. I'm not sold on James Conner. I've never have been though.
Yeah. Or excuse me, everybody. Zach Charbonnet filled in for Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker is their starter. Zach Charbonnet played a good amount last year because Walker was hurt for several weeks. Man, that's tough. Actually, that's really tough. Running backs, NFC West. I mean, number 1's clear cut, but everybody else. Number 1, I've got CMC. Easy. The best running back in football, everybody. Number 2, man, I like Kyron Williams a lot. I'm going Kyron Williams at 2. 3, I'm going Kenneth Walker. He's a beast. I mean, physical specimen. Reminds me a little bit of Marshawn Lynch running through the tackles. Former Seattle Seahawk himself as well. And 4th, I've got James Conner. No disrespect at all. That's just, there's some good backs in the division, James.
Oh, definitely.
Wide receivers.
Ooh, this one's kind of tough. I'm not gonna lie. When I'm thinking about this, think about wide receiver. You got Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. You got Deebo Samuels and Brandon Ayuk. You got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett with JSN.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, and I don't know who the other guy is, but Marvin Harrison. I would have to put Cardinals last, even though I'm so high. I'm so high on Marvin Harrison. He's last. I'm gonna say Rams number 1. I know this might sound crazy. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are in such an insane duo.
Yeah.
And they fixed. I think it's gonna help. They fixed a bunch of pieces on defense to get the ball back more.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say Rams 1. I'm gonna say Niners 2. I'm gonna say Seahawks 3, Cardinals 4.
Okay.
It's real close between Deebo and Ayuk because I think Brandon Ayuk is amazing. Like I love Brandon.
Oh, he's a dog.
But I think just like the route running and skill for Puka Nakua and Cooper Cup is just better. Even though Debo, you can use Debo as like a running back with jet sweeps and stuff. So I think, yeah, I'm gonna go Rams. Even though I like Brandon Ayuk more than any other wide receiver in that division.
Yeah, I respect that list. I really do. But we have a little difference. Number one, I've got the Niners for receiving. I've got Ayuk and Debo. I mean, so versatile. They can take you deep down the field, little screen route, end around. Very fast guys. I like their um, just ability a little bit more than Cup and Puka Nakua. So number two, I've got the Rams. I like your boy Puka a lot and Cooper Cup. Although I did mention in our or not sleeper, excuse me, sophomore slump video, I think Puka Nakua is going to have a sophomore slump. So putting the Rams at two. Number three, I've got Lockett and DK for Seattle. And lastly, I've got the Cardinals with Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay. So 1 and 2 is a little different, but I love DK too, though. There's a lot of wide
Oh
receivers I
yeah.
like.
Oh yeah, and don't forget about JSN for Seattle as well.
I thought he was going to play a bigger role last year, like than what he did. I predicted him to play a lot more. I expected him to be more of like taking Tyler Lockett's spot, but we have to
Yeah,
wait another season on that before that happens.
yeah, exactly. What about tight ends now, everybody? Tight end time.
George Kittle #1.
Oh, for sure.
Than everybody else.
Trey,
Than everybody else.
Trey McBride for the Cardinals. He's a dog.
We'll take him too then. I'm gonna say Rams Seahawks.
Rams, Seahawks. I would agree with that list. Yeah, I don't see any problem with that at all. Of course, George Kittle, the best blocking tight end in football. And I would put him at one. Two, I'd go with Trey for the Cardinals, and then three and four, like you mentioned. I see no wrong with that at that list at all. So I'm in agreement. Let's go to defenses though. Let's switch the flip. Switch it.
Niners.
Niners. Yep.
Niners 1, Rams 2, Seahawks 3, Cardinals 4.
Okay. Yeah, I've got Niners 1.
I know Rams and Seahawks is kind of a toss-up.
That's close, yeah. I think the Rams will struggle a little bit on defense because they're so young, and the loss of Aaron Donald, I believe, will hurt them. So I've got Seattle at 2, Rams 3, Cardinals 4.
We're in agreement on that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Next
Yes,
division.
sir. Next division. You gonna do South or North?
We usually save North for last, so let's do North.
All right. NFC North time, everybody. Quarterbacks, rank them.
Jordan Love #1. Jared Goff #2. And then like I just have to kind of go off hype right now for the other two because they're both rookies. So I'm taking Caleb, JJ.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of hype. I can't really. I mean, he was drafted #1 for a reason, I guess. So we'll see. Also, he has a fantastic. He's coming into such a great offense.
Exactly. So I think the #1 quarterback in the division is not Jordan Love.
Jared
It is
Goff.
JJ. I'm playing. No, I'm just fine. It is Jared Goff, in my opinion, for the Detroit Lions. He had a really good year last year, and I think he's been more consistent over the last few years. Of course, Jordan Love's first year as a starter, getting acclimated to the Green Bay offense. I think he could probably surpass Goff this year. Just depends. We'll have to wait and see. But currently, I've got Goff above him. Jordan Love at 2, Caleb Williams at 3 because of the hype, and everyone's just, the expectations are high for Chicago in that offense. So I've got him at 3 and JJ McCarthy at 4 because we don't even know if he's going to start week 1, everybody. He might sit a couple of weeks.
All right, so we kept it 1 and 2 is different, but everything else is the same.
Yeah.
Running backs?
Running backs.
Lions got the best running back duo in football. So Jamar Gibbs and Devin Montgomery are crazy good and such versatile, both of them. Like they're just so different, but they work so well together. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have them at number one. I think that Josh Jacobs and the Packers for me is my second one. I think that's gonna
Mm.
be really good. And then, ooh, actually no, I got a Packers lower. Um, I said he's gonna have a breakout year this year. He's gonna have a good year. Uh, he's one of my players to watch out for. I'm actually gonna go Sweat.
Swift.
Yeah, Swift. I think Swift breaks out, has a great year. So I still got to stick true to that. So I have him at 2.
Mm.
But then it gets real hard because I think the division's gonna be tough. All the running backs are good.
Yeah.
I think that JJ and Addison and Hawkinson are gonna be getting the ball more than Jones. So I would say, and I think they have a better wide receiver class. So I would say Packers have to run the ball a little bit more. So I
Mm.
would probably say Packers 3, Vikings 4.
Mm. Okay. And Marshawn Lloyd, they drafted from USC, the Packers, who's a pretty good running back as well. He'll probably be utilized as a AJ Dillon type role.
I love
Um,
AJ.
yeah.
He plays pharmacy.
Um, and then the Bears with Swift, I like that pick. I'm going with the Detroit Lions at 1, like you mentioned. I mean, those two guys, Montgomery and Gibbs. I mean, those two guys are crazy. Great duo. Number 2, I've got the Green Bay Packers. I think Josh Jacobs will flourish in that system, and Marshawn Lloyd will be an underrated player year 1 and probably be very productive at that. Number 3, I've got. Oh, it's tough, man. Bears or Vikings?
I think running backs is actually really kind of tough.
I
Like
think it is really. If it comes down to who I think is a better running back, DeAndre Swift or Aaron Jones, and I think when healthy, I truly believe Aaron Jones is better. So I'm gonna give the edge to the Vikings in this one. I put them at 3 and 4. I'll give it to DeAndre Swift. Although I think Swift will have a really good year. Um, I think that backfield in Minnesota with Ty Chandler as well is a little bit better than Chicago's.
all right, running backs are complete.
Yeah,
Wide
wide,
receiver.
wide receiver time.
Y'all have the best wide receiver duo in that division. So Vikings number
No
one.
doubt.
I don't think that
Yep.
one's that hard. I'm taking as a whole. I'm gotta go Chicago 2, Detroit 3, and then Green Bay 4.
Hmm.
Because I think y'all have the best,
Yeah.
and then the Bears added. I have so many weapons.
Yeah.
So I gotta take them at 2. But both of y'all wide receivers have been there for a minute now. Addison finished his rookie year. He understands like how they work as a unit. Jed is
Mhm.
back, so I think they're going to work very well together. But you got Keenan Allen's got to learn this system. You got DJ Moore, who's been there for 1 season. So yeah, I'm going to take y'all. Then I'm taking the Bears, the Lions, Packers.
I respect that list. Make a good point. So number 1, I've got the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver in football. I think they are deserving of the number 1 spot easily. Number 2, I have got the Chicago Bears. I'm in agreement with you. I mean, they've got Moore, they've got Keenan Allen, they drafted Roma Dunze. So those guys are going to be some studs to throw to, man. For a rookie quarterback, you cannot ask anything better for the situation going into. 3, I've got. I mean, the Green Bay Packers are deep. They have some receivers that are young that are good. But I think I like Detroit's wide receivers a little bit better. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's a dog. Jameson Williams, speedster, very good wide receiver. So I like their wide receiver room a little bit better than Green Bay's. Although Green Bay's, I might add, Reed, they got Wicks, they have Christian Watson. They've got other dogs that are really underrated and very good. I feel like I'm missing one. I feel like I'll have to go back after this video. Romeo Dobbs, probably one of my favorite receivers in the league, I might add. As a division rival, I hate to say that, but Dobbs, he's so good, man. Great route runner. I'll put them at 4th. I mean, that just speaks to the volume of how many good receivers are in this division.
No, seriously. But like we had the same, so we got the same list here.
Hmm.
So that's our
Yeah.
first agreement in the North.
Yeah. Tight end time, though. I think we might be a little different, possibly.
Um, so I've got the Lions at 1 because Hawk's coming off of injury. So
Mm-hmm.
I've got Vikings 2. You got the other two.
Cole Kmet for the Bears.
Yeah, I'll probably have him 3.
And then Luke Musgrave and Tyler Kraft for the Packers.
Yeah, I'll keep. Yeah, it'll go Lions, Vikings, Bears, Packers.
Okay, we have completely different lists.
I figured you got Hawk 1.
For the tight end. So if Hawkinson plays like no later than week 3 or week 4, I'd say week 3. I've got Hawkinson at 1. He's been having a quick rehab process, so there's still hope he can play week 1, but I doubt it. I still think Hawkinson is better than Laporta currently. So I've got him at 1, Laporta at 2, the best young tight end in all of football. Very exciting to watch.
He's top
So I've
5 right now.
got him at 2. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I put him at 5.
5.
Yeah. Let's see. Kelsey Kittle, Andrews, Hawk, and then Laporta.
Okay, you got him over Andrew. You got Andrews over him.
Hmm?
You got Andrews over Laporta.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
making sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's got to have more of a sustained career for me to really put him above him. But, anyways, going back, number 3 for tight ends in the NFC North, I have the Packers with Tyler Kraft and Luke Musgrave. I think 2 of the most underrated young tight ends in all of football, very dependable players for Jordan Love to throw to. And number 4, I've got Cole Kmet for the Bears.
All right. Now it's defense time.
Yes, sir. Defensive time, NFC North. Who you got?
I'll be real. No defenses in the NFC North scare me. I'll be real.
No, not at all.
Um, I I kind of want to say Bears number 1. I think they got like the best defense in the division. Yeah, kind of. I mean, y'all got Daniel Hunter, but you lost Daniel Hunter, but
Yeah,
you got Dallas Turner.
true.
Harrison's getting older. Packers aren't. I think the Packers actually might be the number 1. I think
They've got a good defense.
yeah. I'm gonna say Packers 1. The Lions have a good D line, but their secondary is not great, and they lost some more pieces too. They lost Cam Sutton. They lost Gardner Johnson. They did get.
I like their defense though.
You do? Their DBs
Yeah,
are not solid, but like I give a lot. Like they do got Brian Branch.
yeah.
Their DBs
Jack
are just
Campbell.
so like that's what worries me about their defense. It's not their D line. It's just their DBs are so bad.
Mhm.
I want to. I'm gonna say Packers 1, Lions 2, Vikings 3, Bears 4.
Okay.
I think I think Chicago's defense is getting better though.
Yeah, I agree. Um, so you said Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions, or no, Packers,
Lions,
Vikings, Lions, Bears.
Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears.
Oh, okay. All right, we're in a little bit of disagreement. So I've got the Lions at 1. I think their secondary is going to definitely improve from last year. And the biggest thing that really stood out to me though wasn't necessarily the secondary's weaknesses. It was the defensive line's inability to stop the run, and I think they really plugged that up this offseason. So I think their defense is probably the best currently in the NFC North. Number 2, I've got the Green Bay Packers. Jair Alexander and company, they've got a really good solid unit over there. 3, I got the Vikings. They've got some old vets on that team still. Harrison Smith. They let go of Daniel Hunter, but they got some young guns in there that are definitely going to step up this year that everyone's going to start to pay attention to a little bit more and make their name known across the league, hopefully. But in last place, I got the Bears.
I think the Bears defense is getting better though.
Yeah, no, I'm not dissing the Bears at all, but I think those three defenses that I named are better.
But I don't think any of those defenses are like scary defenses though.
No, not really. I mean, the Lions defense has the capability to be pretty scary if they get some corner help, but I think overall they have a decent defense, pretty good.
I mean, they did trade up to get the best corner in the draft, Terry
Yeah,
Arnold.
yeah, that is very true. They addressed the corner position in the draft, so they definitely looking better on that side of the ball, hopefully, for Lions fans. But moving on to the NFC South, last division, everybody for positional grades
All
and
right,
rankings. Quarterbacks, what you got?
quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield, number one. Kirk Cousins, number two.
Yeah.
Uh, Bryce Young, three. Derek Carr, four.
Ooh. Oh man.
Derek Carr's not gonna get you anywhere. I'm sorry, he's not. He's just not. I think
Yeesh.
you have a better shot. No, I like some of the pickups that Carolina made in the draft to help Bryce
Mhm.
Young. I think Bryce Young is not a bad QB. I just think he's in a bad position.
Yeah.
Derek Carr's been there for a couple years now, and he still isn't getting anything rolling. So I'm just not.
I mean, I don't disagree at all. I kind of like that. The more I think about it, like you mentioned, you get Deontay Johnson, you draft Xavier Leggett, so you're getting some guys around him to really perform.
Yeah.
Um,
So like for me, I like it better than the Saints. So I would probably I'd say Baker because this is Baker's second year. This is Kurt's
mhm,
first. Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
Atlanta's got weapons, not denying that, and they got
Mhm,
a sneaky good defense.
yeah. For me, I think two things I'm considering. Kirk surrounded with offensive talent and weapons in Atlanta, and number two, the injury and the age concerns. So, 35 coming off an Achilles tear scares me. It really does. But with all that offensive talent surrounded with Kirk and seeing what he did in Minnesota, I'm putting him at one. I think he'll be the best quarterback in that division, followed by Baker at two. I think Baker has a really solid season in year two in Tampa. Three, I like the Bryce Young pick. I'm a piggy bank off of that. I like the talent they surrounded him with. And honestly, if they make Bryce feel more comfortable in that offense, I think we could see a pretty good campaign this upcoming year for the Panthers. It won't be anything astonishing, probably, but you'll definitely see some improvements.
I gotta win like 5 or 6 games. I think something like
Yeah.
that.
And honestly, just checking the box with Bryce. Like, you got to see some improvements from him this year and seeing what he can do, understanding the offense's just playbook and seeing how well he can develop in Carolina in year two with the offensive guys they got. I mean, the playmakers. Adam Thielen's going to be the wide receiver three now, so
And they got the QB guru as their head coach now, Dave Canales.
yeah, exactly. So he should be able to work some magic down there in Carolina. And fourth, I've got Derek Carr because, like you mentioned, he has yet to do anything really impressing down there in New Orleans. Moving on to the running backs, though. Running back talk. Let's get it
This one
started with
this one's weird.
yeah,
So I'm gonna go ahead and put Panthers at four. I'm gonna go ahead and start that off because they have a rookie.
John Brooks,
Yeah,
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders did nothing last year.
Hey,
Like what do you do is Miles Sanders? This isn't Philly.
v-
This isn't Philly Miles Sanders anymore.
hey, Vita ain't gonna like that response.
So yeah, I'm gonna put Panthers at four.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say in all reality when they play, I'm gonna say White at three, Rashad White at three.
John White.
Um, then I would say
Bijan.
yeah, Bijan at
That
two,
too.
and then Alvin Kamara at one. Because Alvin Kamara is an amazing running back. I
Yeah.
cannot stand the guy. Like if you're seeing this, I do not like you.
Yeah.
Besides, that's besides the point. That's because you play against Tampa. none of these other running backs have had 6 touchdowns in a single game.
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara is one of the best receiving backs like to ever do it. He's fantastic at it. He's got great hands, but he's also aging too. So
Yeah.
I gotta change it. I'm gonna say Alvin Kamara 3, White 2, Bijan.
Whoa.
No, I can't. No, this is hard. I'm trying to get this straight.
That's a big jump from 1 to 3.
No, he's aging too, but
He is.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
Bijan because he doesn't get utilized at 3, White 2, Alvin Kamara 1. There we go.
Okay. I respect it. I kind of like it. Like you mentioned, Alvin Kamara, I mean, he one of the best receiving backs of all time. He gave me some PTSD though, man. He wore on Christmas Day the red and green cleats and torched our defense for 6 touchdowns.
I did not even remember that was you guys. I just remember him doing that.
Yeah, that was us, unfortunately. But yeah, he is crazy, man. Freak athlete. I like him at 1 still. Even though he's aging, if he gets utilized correctly in that offense in New Orleans, he's still one of the best backs in the league, in my opinion. Number 2, I've got Bijan Robinson. I like his upside. He's still young, and we'll see if he's utilized more in year 2. But Arthur Smith likes to run the ball a lot, so we'll have to wait and see with that. Number 3, I've got Rachaad White. I think that's a good pick for him at 3 selection. Very solid year last year, and I think he'll build off of last season's success and put up pretty solid numbers. And fourthly, I've got Jonathan Brooks and Miles Sanders. I think Brooks will probably be RB1.
Yeah, I think Bijan's gonna have a down year because of Kirk being there and them utilizing more of the passing game than because like Kirk isn't like your screen QB. He's not the one that throws like the screens constantly. I think he's more of like your mid range to deep threat ball because he can bomb it. He can.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. Wide receivers now.
I got Tampa at 1. Like, I think we got the best receivers. I think we got the best receivers. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Trey Palmer. We picked up a rookie. I think we just have the best wide receiver room in the division.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would say Falcons.
Yeah.
Drake London. Drake London's a good wide receiver. I can't stand the guy, but he's a good wide receiver.
He's good.
And if you got a QB who can get him the ball, I think he can make some be a threat. So I'll take them at 2. Saints 3. Olave is not what I thought he was going to be. Personally, I thought he was going to be better, but it may also be Derek Carr's fault. So
yeah, I was about to say I think that's a little bit on Carr's fault.
I'll blame Carr more. So I'll have him. The Saints at 3, Panthers 4. They got a rookie. Adam Thielen, who's like 33 years old, is your number 1 wide receiver. There's something up. No offense to him, but he's a 33-year-old white wide receiver. as your number 1.
Well, he was last year, but he won't be their number 1 this year.
I know, but I was just saying last year. I'm like,
oh yeah,
you got a rookie this year. After that, so I think it's gonna. I'm not high on the Panthers wide receivers.
I feel you. We got a little bit of a difference, not much though. Number 1, I agree with you. I think it's Tampa Bay. Your Bucks. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. They've established themselves as 2 of the most consistent wide receivers in the league, and ultimately I think they're the best duo in the entire division. And like you said, you have Trey Palmer on top of a rookie you drafted. So I think you guys have the best wide receiver group in your division. Number 2, I've got the Falcons with Drake London. I think he could easily be a top 15 receiver this year if Kirk gives him the ball enough, because he's an athletic freak, and we'll see what he can do. Number 3, I've got the Carolina Panthers, man. I got the Panthers at 3. I like Deontay Johnson a lot, and I think he's going to be Bryce Young's best friend. I think the connection with him is going to be legit, and Xavier Legette, he's going to be utilized kind of like Deebo Samuel in San Francisco, I feel like. A lot of jet sweeps, down the field motion, stuff like that. Very versatile player, and I think he could be a key factor for them winning games. And Adam Thielen, he's still got some juice left. Let's not discredit the man. He's still pretty solid. But yeah, I put them at 3 and 4. I got the New Orleans Saints. I love Chris Olave. I love Olave, but after him, they don't have anybody in that room that really stands out to me.
Oh, man. Derek Carr. It's kind of Derek Carr's fault.
Derek Carr. Oh, let's go to tight ends now.
Tight ends. Falcons won. Kyle Pitts. I think he'll finally be utilized, and we can see what Kyle Pitts is supposed to
Yeah.
have been for like the last 4 years. So unfortunately, I got him number one. Because like last year, like when I said, oh, I don't think Kyle Pitts is a top 5 tight end, and people were like, what? I'm like, yeah. Like, what stats am I supposed to look at it for this guy? The fact that he's always open and never gets the ball, sure. He's great at breaking away when the ball's not going towards him. But
hopefully Kirk will give him the ball.
hopefully not. But I got the Falcons 1. 2. I don't know. Is Jimmy Graham still the tight end for the Saints? I don't even know who it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Oh, it's well, technically you could say Taysom Hill.
Okay, I'm gonna take K. Dotton at 2. I'm gonna take the Panthers at 3, and then the Saints 4.
Tommy Tremble.
Yeah, and then Saints 4.
Okay. All right, we have a little bit of difference again. Nothing major though. So number 1, I've got Kyle Pitts as well. I think he's going to be utilized. Hopefully, not on your end. You hope not, but a little bit more this year than last season. Freak athlete, great hands down the field, dependable target. I think for Kirk, he'll probably hook up with him quite a bit. Number 2, if I had to think about it, number 2 tied in. I think it's K. Dotton. Who's your other tight end?
We just got that new guy from Washington, the fastest tight end in the draft.
Oh, okay. I like Cade pretty good. I think he's a dependable tight end. He kind of reminds me of Dalton Schultz a little bit. But I put Cade at 2. Number 3, I'll put Taysom Hill at 3, even though he's like not a prototypical tight end. He's very versatile and he's a playmaker. And 4, I would put Tommy Tremble for the Carolina Panthers. He's a good possession receiver or tight end for them out of Notre Dame. Pretty young player still, but I would like those other guys in front of him. All right, defensive. Defensive time.
I think personally the defense is there's 2 that are the top, and then you have 3 and 4. So I think both. I think Tampa and the Falcons are 1 and 2. I think they have the best defenses in the division. And then where it's tough because like I want to say Tampa on this because Tampa and Atlanta both have like the top 2 safeties in the league. So I'm thinking about that. I think our DBs were like really rough last season. I think they got better DBs than we do. I'm glad they didn't get Dallas Turner though. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm gonna say Atlanta 1, Tampa 2, Orlando or New Orleans 3, Carolina 4. I think that the defense for the New Orleans is still really good, but I think they're gonna get exhausted from being on the field a lot. So I'm going to take them at 3. We lost Shaquille Barrett and we lost Devin White. So like I think our linebacker help's going to be like we got good prospects, but I think that's going to be something we're going to have to look at too, along with the DBs. I know we got Tyreek Smith out of Georgia, and I know they're going to be running a lot of triple safeties. I think so. I'm kind of curious on how that works, but. That's my thoughts on the defense. But Atlanta, I think they're overall. Think they got better defense, so I'll take them first.
So this is really close for me, honestly. Between the top 3, 4 is Carolina. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. 1 through 3, though, it's pretty. You can go either way with this, but number 1, I've got the Tampa Bay Bucks. Your Bucks. I've got Antoine Winfield Jr., one of the best safeties in the league, and honestly, one of my favorite players on y'all's defense is Vita Vea, the run stopping machine. very productive player. So I think y'all's defense will probably be the best in the division still currently, even after a couple of losses in the linebacker core. Number 2, I've got the New Orleans Saints. Their defense last year was stifling, and I watched a lot of games that were on TV where they were showing the Saints, and I was like, their defense is deceptively good, and they still have a good amount of vets on that roster, but they produce at a high level. So Demario Davis is honestly still a great linebacker for them, and he produces at a high clip every year. So I like the New Orleans Saints at 2. And number 3, I got the Falcons. I love the Jesse Bates addition to that defense. AJ Terrell and then boys in the secondary can still lock it up. But I like the New Orleans defense a little bit better, so that's why I got the Falcons at 3. And number 4, the Carolina Panthers.
So we've expected Carolina.
Yeah.
That's it.
That is it, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to this extremely long podcast episode. But if you haven't already, please drop a sub, leave a comment, and leave a like as well. Share this video, get it out to your friends. Check out the TikTok as well. Same handle, Thunder Sports Pod. We out here.
Whoop!